One of the accusations that MGTOW men get because they're single and they're essentially going to be perennially single men is that they are selfish because they are not acting sacrificially. And men throughout the generations, for instance, been trained, programmed, conditioned to act sacrificially. All you have to do is look at a show like The Walking Dead and see that, the men carry the brunt of the load and they put their life on the line, they sacrifice themselves. While the woman, can twiddle their thumbs and maybe if you're Laurie, you pop out a baby. And, this is how it's been for eons. It's always been like that. And it's pretty much how it always will be in order for society to function properly, because society needs men, as I've said many, many times, to be disposable and to be utilities, to sacrifice themselves for others. So when MGTOW men say, I'm going to be single, that is a selfish thing. And there are other people, it's going to cost them, okay? Men having freedom and not having families and not tying themselves to women, that will be beneficial to the man and costly to the woman. So when this accusation is laid against a man or a MGTOW, you're being selfish. It's true. It is true. But what I'd like to say here is that it's not a bad thing. Now, the first thing that's funny here is that this accusation in and of itself shows you that relationships in general is not a fair trade and it's not an equal partnership. Women are benefiting more. They bring very little to the table. They bring sex, intimacy, and reproduction to the table, whilst men are bringing their resources, their confidence, their provision, their protection, okay? And that's the better deal for the woman, especially in the modern day world where the state will lord it over the man and she gets the resources once she's married, whether she stays with him or goes through divorce. So given that it is not an equal partnership and it is an unfair trade and it is resource extraction, the funny thing is that this accusation is laid against the man, the accusation of selfishness. Indeed, the reason why this accusation is being made, usually by a woman, is because they are being selfish. And they're saying, how dare you be like me? How dare you be selfish like me? Why don't you sacrifice yourself for me? And for the benefit of me at the cost to yourself. Now, of course, it's not exactly the same because there's nothing really parasitic about earning your keep, doing your work, and then living your life going your own way. That's quite different from, for example, sucking the life and the resources out of someone else and living off them. I would say actually that's more selfish than what single men make something are doing. Simply, I reckon this accusation is something that's busted out more towards the end of a conversation. It's kind of one of those last resort things. You've had hashed out the sort of the strong independent woman fallacies, the arguments for companionship and intimacy and partnering and bonding and completing each other and all that woo-woo stuff. It's kind of like what Bill Burr talks about when you're arguing with a girl and it's all heated and stuff, and it's reached that point where like she's defeated, she's given up, but she just does that last outburst, like that fish, just like the last kind of flap before it's about to die. And this accusation, oh, you're just selfish. This is when it's made, and it's kind of reverting back to it's like the tradcon good old days kind of tropes, where it's basically implied, well, women don't have as much privilege as men, they don't have as much advantages, and they're basically inferior, even though that's the fault of patriarchy, they're basically inferior. So men need to be charitable and sacrificial and look after them and share their resources with them and give them what they want. And if you don't, you're selfish. And understand that it is being selfish, okay? And the only thing that you need to think about and reconcile for yourself is understand that it is going to have a detrimental effect on society if men stop acting sacrificially. And are you prepared for civilization, society to decline based off that? And on the other hand, would you be willing to live the life of a married man on the plantation, wife and kids in the modern day with the legal system, the judicial system, alimony, divorce court, the state looking over your back. And there's a part of me that's conditioned and instinctually wants to do that, wants to be one of those white knights that rescues a damsel in distress and takes care of them. And I think it's a testament to how messed up society is these days and how much no one gives a fuck about men and what a real deal it is, that very easily those instincts and those conditionings and those sentiments are trumped by the social environment, the cultural environment, the toxic nature of relationships with women these days, and therefore I would rather be selfish and look after my own interests than sabotage my future.